Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and I'm back with another Hunger Games video. I said in the last one that I'll be covering a lot of topics that I'm passionate about, mostly outside of Wiz, and I did want to start on that with today's video. This first topic is idolization. In other words, putting someone or something on a pedestal and thinking they can do no wrong and they deserve everything good coming to them, that type of thing. You tend to see a lot of this with stan culture, quote unquote, which is something that has really become a problem, especially recently. The term stan originated from one of my favorite songs of all time, being Eminem and Dito's Stan, which followed the rapid mental decline of a deranged Eminem fan named Stan, writing two letters followed by a tape that got more and more alarming. The story culminates in Stan drunkenly driving off a bridge into a river with his pregnant girlfriend locked in the trunk of his car because Eminem didn't write him back. Stan in itself is short for quote-unquote stalker fan, but stans in specific communities have tried to hijack it and make it mean something that paints them in a more positive light, like super fan, while not taking the T out of the middle there. I don't know. If you're chronically online like me, you've probably seen K-pop stans all over Twitter with unhealthy obsessions over certain groups or members of those groups, or their biases, as they're called. Older viewers who were around in the late 2010s may remember the off-putting, quote-unquote, maybe if they stand group A, B wouldn't have happened to them tweets, and replied to, like, actual tragedies going on. Anyway, where I'm trying to go with this is that idolizing pretty much anyone like that and becoming obsessed in any capacity is really not good, and you see it happen in every community, really. I am not involved in the Minecraft YouTube space, nor have I really ever been beyond the OG YouTubers who I'd watch back in the day, but this seems to be the new hotspot for stan culture. New gen Minecraft YouTubers with audiences varying in age, but definitely skewed toward the younger side, have fostered stan communities that dox and send death threats to quote-unquote antis, which are people who, like me, are anti-stan culture. The Minecraft YouTuber Dream is probably the most infamous example of this, and funny enough, I briefly dated a girl who said she was a Dream stan, which should have had me running for the hills the moment I heard it, but the girl in question, and Dream stans in general, rabidly defend him, no matter what he does. Whether it's saying he cheated in his Minecraft speedrun, or given hard evidence that he groomed a 16-year-old, they'll recite what's been affectionately called the narcissist's prayer. He didn't do it, and if he did, then it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. If it is, then that's not his fault. And if he was, he didn't mean it. And if he did, it was justified. And if it wasn't, well, everyone deserves a second chance, right? You can kind of see the mindset that stans get themselves into. It's certainly not a healthy one, and it doesn't help that Dream himself has recited parts of the narcissist prayer before, especially in his responses to, serious allegations like I was talking about earlier. So I don't expect this whole Minecraft YouTube stan culture thing to go away, and refusing to rethink one's support for someone after being shown hard evidence of them doing something unspeakably horrible and passing it off as, ooh, cancel culture, none of that's true, is deeply concerning. Not to mention the whole parasocial relationship thing that some of them have got going on. And I don't really think I need to touch on that. It should just be common sense to not think you have some sort of special connection with a guy because he liked your Dream X George Not Found fan art, for example. Real relationships are formed by both parties, not just one. To relate this back to Wiz, I can sort of compare what you see with overenthusiastic fans to the recent roundtable situation with Daryl Almond. Now, just so we're clear, that tea is cold, and like it's weeks old, and although I wish he'd apologize for the comments made, if he doesn't, then we as a community need to just move on with our lives and put it behind us. But just as sort of a footnote to the whole ordeal, I wanted to briefly touch on the people who idolize him and defended him, even in the face of all that he did, and some of their justifications for doing so. This is a comment made by fellow content creator Pluto, voicing his opinions about the subjects touched on by Almond and clarifying the difference between casual and average players. It was well thought out and well constructed, and there were people who agreed and disagreed respectfully with it, but then we get to this reply made by a guy who I'll just call SD, quoting developer Stormbringer and adding a really unnecessary and rude bit at the end, calling Pluto a quote-unquote terrible content creator and rabidly attacking him. What's funny is that Stormbringer actually agreed with Pluto, so Errol here writes that quote-unquote Faeriequeens and the others are so sensitive because you, being Almond, are just speaking your opinion, even if it was harshly, it was valid. Followed by a reply from Josh here saying, facts, they can't take constructive criticism or something. I think I'm going to choose to believe that they haven't seen the stream clips. Some of that was indefensible, but as I mentioned throughout this video, whenever Stan is confronted with evidence that their bias has done something wrong, they get confused because it's not in line with what they are so convinced their bias is, and that confusion turns to anger, resulting in comments like these. Probably my personal favorite of all of these was Titan's comment here. It was super toxic, but ultimately in line with everything I've said about Stans in this video. It's really a shame what idolizing certain individuals in this community has done to people, but it is not too late for everyone to wake up and get all the info on a situation and then making an educated decision on what you think of the situation before saying something like this, or saying something like what the pinned comment and the replies to it on Almond's video, or even the people harassing other content creators for even daring to have an opinion that differs from theirs. And that goes deep. It was really sad and disheartening to me to see people going out of their way to leave hate comments on as many people's videos as possible over it. Some even tried saying that the other CCs owed Almond an apology, or called them hypocrites for calling for him to be held accountable, which shows really just how deep in the bubble they really are. Stan culture needs to end, both in the Wiz community and elsewhere. I did want to end this video off by saying that this applies to everyone, not just the Almond stans, and I will try to keep myself in line to the best of my ability, but if I ever do something indefensible like the stuff I mentioned in this video, I want all y'all on my case over it. I do not want y'all to defend me if I do something really bad. But the bottom line though is idolizing and quote-unquote stanning people needs to go. I know my community's got the mental fortitude to avoid doing that, and I know I can have faith in y'all. So, thank y'all for watching. I've been iSkull. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more, and I will see y'all later.